Okay, so I did share a video. It had to do with Susanna. I think one of the content creators who shared this with me, they did use division. Now, I don't use division because I do see that there is a lot of confusion that can come into play with the division. The best way I can explain why we don't use division mostly in Gematria is because you have your whole pie, right? You've got your whole pizza. When you divide your pizza pieces, how many pieces do you have, right? You still have a whole pie, right? So this is why with the division, I don't really play with that. Mostly because I've seen how people can use it, and it's not consecutive across the board. You know, if you have a rule, you have to apply the rule to all. So I am playing by the rules, you guys. I do understand the division with the pizza. I do understand the division with astrology. You know, and it's a rule, right? But who created these rules? These are the things that we must study. Just because everybody's doing something doesn't mean that we should all do it, right? So yeah, when you divide your pizza, you still have a whole pizza. You still have a whole piece that was one, right? And then when you divided it, you feel like you got more, but actually you didn't get any more. You got the same piece, the single piece of pizza. Then you've just divided it out, which when you divide the whole, you actually have less. I hope that makes sense for this video, but anyways, yes, I did show how a content creator, he did a little bit of division with his Gematria to get the Susanna stuff, and I like that he did that because I do like how Susanna links to the zodiac. I'm sure there's other ways that we could also do this. Yeah, so I just wanted to post that here on my page because I did make a video showing how in Gematria we don't use division. Okay, because in a sense, division actually takes away from the whole. And I tried to explain that in this video with a pizza or a pie or a piece of pie taking away from the whole. See, and that's kind of like us, you guys. We are from the whole. Okay, we all got here through the hole, the glory hole, the tunnel of love. Yes, we all came through that hole. We are whole. We're also a piece, but we're still whole. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Oh, in other words, yes, I was sharing today about the falcon, how the falcon has a calf in it that is on. Just like with your jackal has your jack and your AI. I did a video yesterday about the caw and the baw. Caca, caca, bah. You know, and the ram. Okay, so the ram was very important to Egypt. And just so you know, RAM is your random access memory. Do I feel like the Egyptians spoke English? Possibly, yes. I think that they did in a sense, because English is a composite of all the languages. All the languages can be tied back to your zodiac, constellations, houses, for the big house. Okay, the big wheel that keeps spinning for everybody who keeps thinking upon the word and the logos. Keep in mind the constellations are the logos that create the word. They create the letters that we then tack together to create the word. The word is the logos, though, you guys. So we can mix and match the word to become the words. And then we put the words together that formulate these sentences, right? And then there's always a period at the end of the sentence. you have your silent letters as well when you're doing gematria to consider, even when you're reading like the number of values. You might notice, okay, so like I did a post about 360. That is important because it is the sacred circle, and I've shown how you can find fire in the sacred circle. You do this not through the word circle, not through the 3.14 or pi. You do this through the 360. So we need to think of new ways to find values that link to the system for a better connection of our understanding of how the grand system works. And the grand system does work in a circle pattern, but the circle pattern is also the sacred spiral. Okay, so you could do some gematria for spiral if you wanted. When you go and you look up 360, though, you're going to find that there are lots of words underneath it that equal the value of the 360 through other ciphers. And some of these words, they're going to have like some silent letters that you can add back on silently. When you add them back on silently, you don't have to increase the value because they're just like invisible letters that you just invisibly put back. That way you can get the message and then they fall away. You don't add the values there. Okay, so yes, when I do the gematria, I want to make another post about this. I do not use division. Me personally, I do not use division. Okay. I only use multiplication and addition. When it comes to astrology and finding your life path numbers, you have to add and then divide. And some people say you shouldn't add, you should multiply. Okay, so there's many ways that you could find your life path number. You could find it through division, after you multiply, and add. So it kind of comes at the end of the process, right? And I want to point out too, if you do your math for your addition for your life path, if you do that, you're going to get a value that's not going to be the same as when you do your values for multiplication. You'll get a different life path number. Okay, so how do you know which one is correct? I'm going to tell you that they are both correct. Okay, they're both correct. You don't have just one life path or one number. That's what a lot of people, I feel like, make the mistake of. They just pick one house to stay in the zodiac, and that's their house. And I'm going to tell you right now, your planets aren't all in one house. They're divided out, scattered all over your chart. So actually, a piece of you is in every single house that you have a planet in. Even the houses that you don't have a planet in, it's still playing a role in your wheel because it's a grand piece that is a part of the wheel house. So just because you have a planet and it's not in a house, or you might have a house in your birth chart that there's absolutely no planet on, that doesn't mean that that house is of no value to you. Actually, that might mean that house is of a great importance to you because a planet has not dominated this house. So it might be actually beneficial for you. Instead of you just saying, oh yeah, there's nothing in this, it means nothing for me, maybe you should take a different lens and see that this is possibly very important for you. There's a reason why there's no planets in your house. So I use all the information, you guys. I use all the information. I don't categorize myself to just one category. I've told you before about the alter egos. Many people think that you should kill your ego. I think that's not beneficial to do because all your personalities and all your egos work for your benefit. They all work together. They all serve a purpose. So you should take all things into consideration. I did want to leave this post here just in case people came to my page and was saying, what is this with the division I'm seeing now after I said that there was no division? This is the aftermath with the division. The division comes in last. But I won't be using that on my